So today, first of all, we are going to discuss about this course and what are the primary things we will cover in this course, and then we will go one by one in the technical modules. All right. So this course name is VMware vSphere 7.0 Install, Configure, and Manage. So where we learn about the skills of installing the VMware vSphere component, primarily ESXi, vCenter, and lot of available features inside the ESXi as an vSphere hypervisor. So this is just very high level summary about the contents, what we are going to cover. Like first of all, install and configure ESXi. When we say install and configure, it means that is installing the ESXi as an hypervisor on a physical box, on a bare metal ESXi bare metal box from different vendors, from like HP, Dell, Cisco, Lenovo. There is different providers, but the way of installing is almost same. Then do the configuration part, initial configuration part to use and utilize. Then deploy and configure the vCenter server appliance. When we say the vCenter server appliance, it is just an management portal, or we could say the management appliance of your overall vSphere environment, where we deploy number of ESXi hosts. Then using vSphere client to manage the vCenter inventory and its all configuration that is required to overall manage a virtual data center that we are going to create by using the ESXi hosts. Then to understand about vSphere virtual networking, when we say the virtual networking, it means that is how do we configure the networking inside ESXi hosts, how we manage that, how to create the different type of network switches, and how do we connect the running virtual machines inside the ESXi host with the virtual network component. Then we'll talk about storage technology supported by VMware vSphere. How do we virtualize the storage, and how do we assign the virtual storage to the VMs, and how to configure them to ESXi host and to provide that storage to the virtual machines. Create and configure the data stores. Data stores means here whatever storage we are going to connect with our ESXi host to provide that to configure that as an data stores. Then further virtual machines on the top of ESXi hosts are going to use those VMFS is just a VMware file system data stores. Then use vSphere client to configure the virtual machine, template, clone, snapshots, create the content library. Content library is primarily the centralized repository to keep your ISO images, tools, templates, and all. Then managing the resources to your virtual machine. When we say resources, it means like CPU, memory, disk, storage, and all. Migrate virtual machines, movement of virtual machines from one server to another server, vSphere cluster, patching, update, deployment of using vSphere Lifecycle Manager. So these all are the high level of contents that we are going to cover in different modules. Like when we say modules, these all topics will cover under these 10 modules. The first one is course introduction that we are talking today. Then we'll go about the introduction of vSphere and software defined data center, virtual machines. What is virtual machines? What is vCenter? How do we configure the virtual networks? How do we configure the storage, virtual machine management, resource management, vSphere cluster, vSphere lifecycle manager? So These all 10 modules are going to be clear all our concepts with respect to virtualization, installation, configuring part, administration part, management part. But this can be up and down. Like my way of teaching is bit different as the sequence. Like probably we can cover another module first, then later we'll talk another module. It could be possible somewhere, but it will not break your flow anywhere. All right. So these are some text indications like how it will look like when we say mono space. It is you will get any any command output, then mono space bold how you are running the command. These are just text representations of different things. Like if an italic, it is indicating some of the titles, any kind of book or any kind of blog, any kind of community center. If there is something inside a braces, then it is telling us, like for example, there is a braces and inside host name. It means that it is telling me you have to put some host name in place of this whole content. All right. So this is just an indication. So along with this, if we wants to go with some documentation, VMware provide us a lot of documentation uh, around different technologies. So VMware is not only in data center virtualization, they do a lot of things in storage virtualization, network virtualization, and another technology always kind of private cloud monitoring, manage lot of things. It's a big sea actually, from where you can learn a lot of things. So primarily for the course what we are doing, they have given some public document references. You can go there and you can download some of the documents from the related technology. All right, so there is more URLs, like especially for overall documentation. You can open https://docs.vmware.com. Then there is VMware communities. When we say communities, it means that is a community is a center where you can make your VMware account and you can register yourself within VMware community. And it's a big group of VMware users across the world where you can ask your question, or maybe you can answer any of the questions, where they are referring some of the, like when you start the discussion Q&A, any lot of knowledge base articles are available. So knowledge base articles is something like we refer them is a small set of information is that's indicating to a specific problem, a specific error, or a specific statement. By answering them, then a lot of technical paper, documentation, user group, communities, and all. Then if you want to, you are a user in you are working within an organization and you have a support account, you want to open a support, then you can. Then VMware helps you to provide the hands-on lab if you wants to do some practice. So there is a lot of VMware hands-on lab available. Some of the labs are simulation based. When we say simulation based, they are instructing you. You just go ahead and click the tab. Then rest of the information will be filled automatically. Then some of the labs are on real HOL. When we say real hands-on lab, then whatever information being asked, that you have to give all the details in a such way, in a right way, and then you have to fill all the details. There would be a table of contents are available what you need to fill in a particular option. Then VMware have its education portal. You go ahead and you can register yourself and you can take advantage of VMware organized learnings, right? But yeah, definitely that will cost you in USD somewhere. Okay, so probably it would go like, for a simple course it is 2 lakh INR, or because they have defined their standards in USD. All right. So these are some of the references that's going to help you a lot in future to work upon overall VMware environment, right? So again, Once you will register yourself on education portal, then you can track your certification, whatever you have done. You can register yourself for any training that is provided by VMware. You want to register yourself for certification, then from that will maintain the overall record for you, whatever you have done so far, and whatever is certificate you have completed, or if you are planning some of the learning as well. All right, so these are the VMware official sites. So from certification perspective, when you say, sir, I'm planning to do some of the uh, VMware certifications, so as I said, VMware is not only in data center virtualization, they are also in digital business transformation, network virtualization, mobility, cloud management, digital workspace. So in lot of technologies, VMware grown as a software company is very fast. So being in a software company, they are providing solutions and education in different tracks. Like for you, it is a track you are going to work, that is data center virtualization. Okay, so in any of the track you can start your career and you can start your journey. That's all depend upon you, if you are capable to do 1 2 3 4. That's all like basis on the interest of people, how much he wants to learn. So the first level of certification is associate certificate, that we say certified associate. Then next level is professional, VMware certified professional. Like for example, if you will do in data center virtualization, then you will be DCV. If you wants to do in NNV, then you will be an NV, desktop mobility, same way that. Then the advanced level of certification come in picture, that is we called as an VCAP. VCAP as an design and deploy. There is two exams actually. One is for designing the overall solution and deploying. Then after completing both the VCAP, you become VCIX, that we say as VMware Certified Implementation Expert. And the last level of certification in any of the track, that is your VMware Certified Design Expert. When we say design expert, you have to provide end-to-end solution. It's a kind of, you have to provide the entire project from starting from beginning. When we say beginning, you have to understand the customer requirement. On the basis of that, you have to create some solution, provide that, write your own thesis, submit to VMware validate that, and then they will call you for interview to defend your design and all. So that is the VCDX. All right, so these are the level of certifications that you can start your journey with VMware by doing that. Okay. But when you say in industry, yeah, definitely certificate always have matters. But yeah, like uh, before go ahead and do the certification, you should take some of the experience with the technology, get some hands-on, then go ahead and do the certifications. Okay. So after completing the certification, you will get the different type of badges for the different technologies that is provided you. Okay, so you can present, that's going to help you to make your resume better. Okay, so that's all about the course introduction, Shiva. If you have some question, you please let me know. But yeah, definitely today I'm going to give you 10 or 15 minutes just brief of about virtualization, the basic theory of that. Then tomorrow onwards we can start the technical modules. So you also let me know your availability for the weekdays, if it's possible for you.
Sure, sure, sir. I'll be like available like from 9 I'll be available, sir. 9 to
9 a.m. to 10 a.m. You are okay. All
yeah,
right.
I'm okay, sir.
Okay. Makes
Yes, sir.
sense. So we'll do that. And also from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m., I have another batch is running. However, they have covered, they are 50-60% part of from that. But if you want to join that in parallel,
Okay, sir.
that would be a great opportunity for you. And like the VM management and rest of the modules you can cover there. That will help you to cover the training in in a faster way. All right.
Sure, sir. Okay.
So actually tomorrow 10 a.m. they let me tell you what's being completed there so far out of these modules. So but again, I would say you don't need to be afraid. Whatever you will learn from there, that would be great. If not, then we will cover separately as well. All right. So far, we have remaining modules I'm talking about. This one, this one. All virtual machine related things are remaining, and the vSphere lifecycle management. All right. These all three modules are remaining there, but after today's class, you will be easily able to cover that. Tomorrow I will start their virtual machine, all related modules related to virtual machines. I'll cover that vSphere lifecycle management. Okay. And also, as I said, like tomorrow you will sit at 9 a.m. Then we will cover this technical module, introduction and to vSphere software defined data center. All right.
Okay.
So now I'm going to tell you some of the basics and fundamentals of the virtualization. That's going to help you, tomorrow if we will start something, I'll give you some basic thing and basic references so that meanwhile you can go ahead and you can study during free time. Probably you have today some free time as well. Okay.
Yes.
So so when we say the word virtualization, all right. So virtualization is something sense in our mind that is something not available physically. Okay, that is
Right.
the virtualize. All right. So probably take a simple example. If you say, sir, I am working on a Windows server and that server is made by Dell, HP, or Cisco, something like that. So being a physical server, what you are doing in that? So, sir, what we are putting here is first we are putting some operating system, then customer is putting their desired application. All right. So this operating system can be any like Windows, Linux, or another operating system, and application could be your any XYZ application, right? That is being by developed, customer available, and all. For example, SharePoint, Microsoft Exchange Server, sometime it is SQL DB, Oracle DB, Tally, any banking software. That could be millions of applications are available in the market, right? So if we are using the approach of physical servers, then let's take an example. A customer need to build their 1,000 applications. So for all these 1,000 applications, customer need to create the 1,000 of physical servers, right?
Yes.
And it's not only to creating, it's also to connect them with your network fabric. When we say the network fabric, it should be connected with the available network switches, or if they want an storage environment also. So in that case, there should be a huge storage fabric to manage and maintain those physical servers where we are putting again an operating system and applications, right? So this was a story uh, around a decade ago where people were used to do this kind of setup, put a separate physical server for each and every application, install operating system, put the applications, but huge efforts from management, administration perspective, space consumption, logistic requirement, wiring, cabling, power supply. There were lot of challenges uh, to dedicate a physical server for a physical application, individual application actually. Okay, so how virtualization change this picture? What virtualization concepts say to you is you don't need to be deploy n number of physical server. Take the physical servers with good configuration. When we say good configuration, it should have good amount of CPU, good amount of memory, good amount of network component, all right? And inside those physical server, install some virtualization software. When we say installing a virtualization software, in general term, we call this software as an hypervisor. What we call this as? Hypervisor, right? So this hypervisor could be from different providers, especially from VMware company. The VMware made this hypervisor. Name is ESXi. Name is ESXi, right? Earlier it was ESX, but for .x onwards, the name was get ESXi. So what this hypervisor is doing for me, whatever CPU, whatever memory, whatever network, whatever storage components are available. So this hypervisor, it's again as an system software that can talk to my bare metal and its devices. Then it have the capability to convert these hardware component into software defined component. When we say software defined component, by using this hypervisor layer, we are going to create, instead of a physical server, we are going to create virtual server. Sometimes people say as virtual machine as well. So this virtual machine will again have a set of virtual hardwares. Instead of giving physical CPU, physical memory, physical network, physical storage, all the component will be in a form of virtual here. So we could say virtual CPU, virtual memory, virtual network, virtual storage, and it's a set of software itself. But when we say in behave, this is more over like your physical server. So in physical server, we normally have CPU, memory, disk, network, everything is available here.
Yes.
So as a next step, you can install an operating system and you can install the applications here. All right. So same way, you go ahead and you can create number of virtual machines by leveraging a single physical box. And when we say from network and storage fabric perspective, network means there is network switch. So now you don't need to connect the network switch directly to your virtual machine. It will be connected to your physical server only. All right. Same way, if you are using some of storage fabric, then that would be connect only with this bare metal server. When we say the bare metal server, these are empty server. Once we'll install this ESXi as an hypervisor, then we call this as an ESXi host. All right. So a host,
ESXi is like it's a software, sir.
absolutely.
The
This
software
is a
we are installing the ESXi software into the physical server.
physical
Right?
server. Absolutely right.
Okay.
So in a common term, ESXi is a hypervisor. There is a lot of companies who are providing this solution, but the top one is VMware, then Microsoft also, then Red Hat also, then Oracle also. So lot of companies in the market available. So the hypervisor named from VMware is ESXi, from Microsoft is Hyper-V, From Red Hat, it is KVM. From Oracle, it is Oracle Virtual Machine. So these are the different hypervisors name from the different providers in the company. So it's all depend upon the customer adoption, which kind of hypervisor they are using. So for those hypervisor installation, management and all, so there is another set of softwares are provided, right? So this ESXi is gonna to be installed directly on your physical server, and once it will be installed, you do some basic configuration. When we say basic configuration, like the TCP IP address, host name, all right, and DNS IPs and all, then you would be able to access that from some management console. There is a lot of that we are going to talk in detail, but here just a brief, like earlier, if you are using 1,000 physical servers to managing the 1,000 apps, now you can use 1,000 VMs to manage 1,000 apps, and those 1,000 VMs can be easily run to 10 to 15 physical servers only. How? Because these I mean, we can make a ratio, that's we say normally packing ratio. When we say packing ratio, a ESXi host is capable to run easily 50, 60, up to 100, 200 of running virtual machines at a time. But for a end user who was working, like for any of the user, you have prepared a system who are working, he will take the remote console, he will be able to work that, and he will not get any obstacle to create their to deploy the applications to work in it, right? So either he will access through RDP or SSH kind of whatever the operating system we have put. Like if it's in case of Windows, we will do the RDP. If in case SSH, then he will access it by using the SSH console. So this is just a brief story I wanna tell you. So so there would be number of terms that you will hear. So while we are studying, we should be pretty much familiar with these terms, like during the discussions and all. So normally people keep on talking about, let me learn about VMware and all. VMware is nothing. This is just a company name. This is a software building company in field of virtualization, cloud, and your desktop virtualization. So they make a lot of products. So when we say VMware vSphere, so it means that is a a set of virtualization features that is pulled or bundled as a suite, that's we called as an vSphere. So all the vSphere features are presented primarily by ESXi as an hypervisor and vCenter as an management software for all these hypervisors. Then we will say sometime we say as an virtual machine, sometime we say as an virtual server, sometime we say as an guest VM. All these terms are presenting the same thing. It means that we are presenting a virtual machine that's being created on the top of ESXi. So these are the name: virtual instance, virtual server, VM, guest VM. All these are the name of the same thing. Okay, this is the same person, that is your virtual machine, that's being called by the different names. So when we say the term guest operating system, or sometime we say simply operating system, it means that we are talking about a operating system being installed inside a VM. Okay, so it could be your any Microsoft base or Linux base. There could be different flavors should be available for that guest operating system. So when we say about vCenter, so it means that it is a management software that you are going to install somewhere that will be primarily used to manage all of the available ESXi host and the running VMs on the top of these ESXi host. Okay, that is my vCenter server. It is a management software that will get installed. And you will hear one more term here, virtual appliance. Virtual, there is too many actually, but yeah, I am just telling you some more familiar virtual appliance. So what is a primary difference between VM and virtual appliance? So VM, first of all, you have to create a empty cell somewhere on the top of your ESXi. When I say empty cell, there is nothing. Then you have to install an operating system. Then you have to install an application on the top of that. While a appliance is a pre-pack box where we have already an operating system and application that you have to import, or you would say deploy, on the top of your ESXi. So when you will import and deploy, it will deploy as a virtual machine, but already there is an operating system, there is an application. You don't need to install any OS and application. Everything will be there as a pre-pack. So that's we called as an virtual appliance. There is a lot of term will come. Some of the basic term is vMotion. When we say vMotion, it means that we are talking about a virtual server or a virtual machine is moving from one ESXi host to another ESXi host. Okay, that's we called as an vMotion. I'm just telling you some very, very basic terminology here, all right? So these are very much common terms that you are going to hear during this syllabus. Sometime it is a storage vMotion. In that case, we are talking about storage migration from one place to another place, from one data store to another data store. Inventory is something we will see the list of tabs are available under vCenter or ESXi. That's we called as an inventory. Yeah, any question, Shiva?
No, sir.
Yeah, okay, cool. So I will not take much time for you today, and tomorrow onwards we are going to start the actual technical module that where we will maybe we can recap some of the terms that we just talked today, and then we will talk detail about ESXi, how the resource being provision, and how, I mean, the fundamentals of ESXi, how the resource being shared among the virtual machine, CPU, memory, storage, network, all these component. Then the way of installing ESXi, accessing the ESXi console and all. That's what this first module is going to cover. All right. And probably you have seen my message also. So we do also provide training on vSAN along with I mean, most of the vSphere software stack, NSXT, VRA, vSAN, VMware Cloud Foundation and all. But yeah, you start just your journey from here. Then yeah, definitely we'll keep on. If it's good, then you will be associated with me for a long time and you will keep on learning. A lot of people are. So by profession, I am not a trainer. So I am associated with some industry where I am working as an solution architect. So in overall VMware virtualization products, I am working more than 12 years, especially for VMware and virtualization. But yeah, before that, I have good exposure on on Windows as well, and your networking things, Windows and all these stuff. So yeah,
Okay.
I have a vast experience around all these technologies. All right.
Okay. So when this training, you will give us the real time training also, right? Sir?
Yeah, don't worry. I'll keep on you telling
So,
about in real time. Sometime I will show you the real environment as well, how it's happening there, how it's okay. And you are going to prepare and going to do your labs and all, okay?
okay.
But for this, you have to keep your slot book for 9 to 11, all right?
Yeah.
So that the labs you guys are going to do that you will do in parallel, okay?
Okay. Sir.
Yeah. All right. So are you aware with this fee and all?